Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Jaminator. Today I'm going to be showing off my Ancient Box deck, which I recently took to a League Cup in Sydney. Flew down, played in the League Cup, got first place there with this deck out of like 27 people or something. This is a really interesting Ancient Box deck. It's my own invention, and outside of my testing group in Brisbane, no one else in the world plays it this way, but I definitely recommend running it like this. It's a completely different way of playing Ancient Box, especially when it comes to the Charizard matchup, but it works. So let's go through this Ancient Box deck. It's not really in order. As you can see straight away, we've got this SLOWBRO with Twilight Inspiration, and it says, 2 energies, you can use this attack if your opponent has exactly 1 prize left, you take 2 prize cards. So because you have a single prize deck with only single prize cards, well, there's an EX, they're always taking 1 prize at a time. You can prize map right to the last prize card and have SLOWBRO set up to take the last 2. And that's a fallback plan. So if you're ever behind on prizes against like a single prize deck or the mirror match, you can use SLOWBRO to win. And if you're ever struggling to knock out a one-hit KO Charizard EX, instead of 2-shotting it or missing it with the last hit, you can just use SLOWBRO to win the game. So let's just pull out all the Pokemon here before I explain how we get the SLOWBRO in play. And because we're running SLOWBRO, we're also running a Slowpoke. And the Slowpoke I chose is just this one, 70 HP shiny one. The only reason being it's the most optimal one because it has a really cool artwork. I'm pretty sure there's like a full art version from Scarlet Violet base or something. But I like this one better. It has 2 retreat, which is the least of the few of them. I think some of them have 3. So this one definitely has the least retreat cost, which helps. Some have more HP, but I just like the art. So in all honesty, it really doesn't matter which one you use because they're all really shit. So you're just gonna end up evolving it into that to use it, really. You're never gonna attack with the Slowpokes. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Unless they make one that's like really good at some point, then you use like the new cool Slowpoke EX or whatever. Yeah, so that's all our Pokemon out of the deck. Yeah, let's go through that. Stars of the show, Slowpoke and SLOWBRO. Obviously, we're just using these at the end of the game because they have the effect that can only be used when the opponent has 1 prize left. We are running 1 Roaring Moon EX for the Frenzied Gouging attack. This is also an option, big health Pokemon that you can't one-shot with your Ancients, especially when we're running, pretty sure we've got like enough Ancients to do 300 damage with a Roaring Moon. So you're not ever going to one-shot Charizard with this list. These are your options, Frenzied Gouging or the SLOWBRO to win the game. So we'll put that here next to that. These are our like delicacy cards, and then consistency cards. We've got, of course, the Roaring Moon, Vengeance Fletching attack, 10 more damage for each ancient card in your discard pile. So we've got 4 of those. And then we've got 3 Koraidon EB Games stamped. We're going to be using this mostly to discard in the bin to increase our damage. You can use them early game, but most of the time I'm just throwing them in the bin. If you can get a few Roaring Moons out early, you never really need to set up a Koraidon ever. 1 Great Tusk. We can use this Land Collapse attack. There's a lot of decks where you can just win straight away. You can see, oh, he's got 4 cards left. I don't even need to take 5 prizes. I just Great Tusk, mill them. Decks such as Chen Pao and the Mirror Match and Lost Box are very prone to having a very small decks, and you can just mill them to win the game. 1 Raiden Greninja. This is your deck engine. If your Greninja's prized, you're gonna have a bad time because you really brick if you don't get the Greninja out early and start drawing. Unless your hand's just like all supporters and stuff, like, which is really unlikely. But yeah, Greninja's prize, it really sucks. But we're including it anyway, has to be in the deck. Let's go to our energy count here. 2 fighting energies to pay for the Koraidon attack cost, because Koraidon is fighting and colorless. Put that over here. Then there should be 7 darkness energies. A lot of high level player lists like to use 6, so a total of 8 energies, but I like 7. Consistency is key. If I wanted to take something out, I could take out an energy because I have quite a lot of super rods and stuff. But yeah, when I play, there's quite a lot of times, if I have less energies, quite a lot of times where you're just like, oh damn, I just lose. Don't have any energies left. So I'm running 7. Let's do our supporter count. I think there's 10 supporter cards in the deck. 8 ancient supporter cards. When you're playing an ancient box, you're gonna want to run all of the ancient supporter cards just to get your ancient count up for your Roaring Moons. Let's have a look here. We've got 4. Professor Sada's Vitality. This is your energy acceleration. It lets you power up the Roaring Moons to attack in 1 turn. Your Roaring Moons only need 2 energies to attack with the Vengeance Fletching. So if you use a Sada and an energy attachment for turn, you can power it up in 1 turn. Got 4 Explorer's Guidance. This is also just to help get through the deck. Playing against a lot of decks like Lost Box that doesn't deal tons of damage, but they have lots of disruption, even Charizard. I'd recommend using more of the Explorer's Guidance than the Sada, so you can just thin more and more crap out of your deck and make sure your deck's only full of stuff you need, like Sadas, energies, Pokemon, stuff like that. Then we've got 1 Thornton, 1 Boss's Orders. Some people might say, why don't you have a penny? Well, that's because we're using Thornton to get the Slowbro into play, and we can use the Thornton to get the Roaring Moon EX into play. And the funny thing is, if you're ever into a control match and you happen to have the Greninja or Slowpoke stuck in the active, you can actually attach some energies to it, discard something useful like this Roaring Moon, and then Thornton transform the useless Pokemon into a Roaring Moon. So it's technically a penny. And if you're playing against control, you've got a lot of turns to try and set that up. So it doesn't really take much out of the consistency by adding Thornton in. It still does the same thing that Penny does, but also helps us move towards this strategy of the Slowbro. All right, so let's go for some item cards. We're gonna look at the ball search now. We're actually running some Artisans as well. Some people running this deck prefer not to run Artisan, and they go for the heavy Pokestop build. But what you'll find is, with lots of experience playing this deck, if you don't get any Pokemon out early in the game, you lose. There's so many decks out there that can set up in like 2 to 3 turns. And by the time they get set up and start knocking your Pokemon out, if you don't have any Pokemon set up, you lose the game. Doesn't matter how much HP you have, if you've got the booster capsules or whatever, you just lose. So we're going to be maximizing our chances of getting Pokemon with 4 Nest Balls, which is pretty standard. But we're also going to be adding in with that 2 Ultra Balls. We can use these to discard ancient cards from our hand. Might be discarding some Koraidons or energies to fuel the Sada. And then the Stadiums have also got these 2 Artisan here, which I'm also going to add this Pokestop next to it. But all of those we're using to get our Pokemon out. Artisan's great. You can get it in play in 1 turn, get a Pokemon out next turn, it's another one. So sometimes it's like a perpetual Nest Ball. You get the Pokemon out every turn until they bump the Stadium, which is great. Let's see, what other ancient cards do we have here? I'm going to pull out all the ancient cards now. These are going to be adding to our ancient count. We've got the 4 earthen vessels. These are fantastic. Like, this is the chef's kiss of the ancient docs deck. Being able to do more damage with Roaring Moon per ancient thing in the discard. Using this card, it's an ancient card, it goes in the discard pile, but also you get to discard a card from your hand to use it, to get the energies out of your deck. So you can even discard like your Koraidons or an ancient supporter. So you can discard 2 things to increase your damage by playing this. It's a fantastic card. I'm going to put that here with the energies. We also have 4 booster capsules. These increase your health with all of your basic 140 health ancient Pokemon, takes it to 200, which means double turbo energy attached Arceus can't one-shot you. Charizard on its first turn before you take any prizes cannot one-shot you. There's quite a lot of decks that just cannot one-shot a 200 health Pokemon. And when they invest a lot of resources into taking them out, and they put like a 2-prizer up to try and take out this enormous health basic, even though they're taking 1 prize for it, what they're really doing is setting up a Pokemon for you to take and knock out and take 2 prizes now. Whereas before, if you didn't have the capsule, they might just use all their single prize Pokemon. So it really helps out for you. Plus, if they kill it, it's another ancient card that goes in the discard pile. I'm going to add those here underneath the Pokemon. These are our tools. We have 1 more ancient card, the Awakening Drum A-Spec. I've seen some lists playing the Prime Catcher, but I just like this. Adds extra consistency to the deck. Get it early game, or if you don't get it early game, you can save it right until the end, so when you get Ionoed, you can just Pokestop or draw straight into the Awakening Drum, fix your hand up, and you'll be never punished. Such a great card in this deck. To get our supporters out, we have 4 Pokegears. These are like Great Balls, but for supporter cards. Look at the top 7 cards you don't take a supporter. You can only want to be playing a supporter every single turn. This is not like the Roaring Moon EX deck, where some turns you get starter, some turns you don't, because you're only running like 6 supporters in the whole deck. We're running 10, but we want to be using 1 every single turn. Every turn you don't use a supporter just means that you're losing consistency in the deck, and if you get Ionoed, you're going to get Ionoed into more crap. So running 4 Pokegear. I was running 3 for a bit and then added 4 in, and this is actually why I think I won the League Cup, is that 4th Pokegear. Very important card. Power Pad, we can put back supporters. We can Pokestop away supporters early in the game and not be too worried, because we can Power Pad stuff back, especially this Thornton. Only bosses orders, you're definitely going to want to get those back. Let's see here, recovery. We've got 2 super rods. That's 1 from Black and White Noble Victors and the prize stamp Hollow super rods. Get back your energies, get back your Pokemon. Sometimes you will Pokestop away a Pokemon, you want to get it back. Or at the very end of the game, get that SLOWBRO back, which is kind of useless sitting in your hand all game, but you might want it at the very end of the game to win, so you super on it back at the end. Superior Energy Retrieval gets energies back as well. You can put that down here. And then we've got 2 Gust options, 2 counter catches, which we can put here. These will help you with all of your matchups, maybe except the control matches. Oh, there's a bit of glare on that. Counter catches really help. When you're playing against Charizard, try your best not to ever discard a counter catcher with Explorer's Guides or an Ultra Ball, because you're going to need both of them. 1 to kill the Pidgeot and 1 to kill a Charizard or your second 2 prize Pokemon, because we're always going to be using our SLOWBRO for the last 2. And then finally, I've got 1 copy of Dark Patch in the deck. I might, if I'm going to cut any cards from this deck, I might cut the Dark Patch to try and put something else in. I have been testing with hand clippers for this weekend, because I know over the weekend, there was a big regionals where Azul won playing Snorlax control, and Hand Clippers is like the Drapion against that deck, especially if they're playing their first game against you, they don't know that you're running it in the list. You can get them to keep using their Rotom, fill their hand with like 30 cards, Hand Clippers straight away. They lose their whole deck, and then you could just win by using Great Tusk to mill them. I expect to see a lot of Snorlax players, especially in just the first week after regionals where it won. So I'm thinking about playing the Hand Clippers, but this deck that won the League Cup has a Dark Patch. The reason we're running the Dark Patch is so we can actually power up the Roaring Moon and attack with it all in one turn. So if you have a Dark Patch, you can play the Roaring Moon on the bench. You've got something in the active it can treat. You play the Roaring Moon on the bench, attach an energy, use the Sada, and then a Dark Patch, and that's 3 energies to pay for the Frenzied Gouging, attack cost, or Calamity Storm. So the Dark Patch helps heaps in situations like that. Plus, you can also always use it to power up your Roaring Moon Vengeance Fletching. So anyway, this is my deck list for Ancient Box, and I hope you guys give it a shot, try it out. It's really fun to play. I definitely recommend it. And thanks for checking out this again. I'm going to put some more videos up soon. This deck list, the one gave me 50 championship points, so now I'm really close to my Worlds invite, and I'll keep you all updated as I go along with that. I've got 2 weeks left to try and secure the last 50 points to go to the Worlds. Peace out, guys. See you then.